Hello, good morning everyone. Today I'm going to make a video in English. For many months and years, I have lived a kind of life which I feel many modern women like me have experienced in some level or are currently experiencing in their life that is making them feel very lost in their life. There are many women. I read a article a few years back about the leftover women in China, which made me feel very sad for them after reading the article, because according to the logical thought that I had at that time, I felt that if China had a one child policy in their cities, it means that, and China being a patriarchal society like majority of the world is, the proportion of women in society currently is lower than the proportion of men. And if the proportion of women are lower, and despite that, if women are staying single, it shows up a societal problem that I have been reflecting via my own life and lives of similar people like me. The social problem that exists currently on earth is that despite many laws and regulations and things to balance things for men and women, to make things equal in some ways, like things are equal in the eyes of God, um, men have created laws in order to bring some balance to abused women, or women who are really in distress, or women who fall through the cracks of society when certain things related to injustices happen to them. But the problem is, while men have focused on very deep injustices in the past few centuries or hundreds of years of our existence, even now at the deeper level, many men do not understand the inequality in behavioral patterns and thinking and even emotions that exist between men and women. Biologically, I agree with everyone that men and women are not built the same. Emotionally, also, in some ways, men and women are not made the same way. But even though currently in this patriarchal existence, emotionally, men and women are not exactly similar, and the emotional responses in some ways of men and women are very different to certain situations in life. Slowly, the reason why God has introduced this concept of twin flames on earthly life is so that men can gain a wider perspective of the opposite gender by having the same soul experience both genders' problems in two different bodies, which is what the twin flame experience is about. And if the same soul is experiencing life as a man and as a woman, then what is the intent and purpose of them to experience life as a man and a woman in two different bodies, so that the same soul gets the higher perspective of what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman in this modern world, so that you gain again a higher perspective of how to merge the gender differences, how to merge and solve some of the gender disparity related problems, how to fix the root cause problems of both genders. Now, it's not that God hasn't been working on this problem for only in recent years. God has been trying to work on this problem for many centuries. That's why women's suffrage movements started so many years back, so many decades and centuries back, because the places of the world where women were already trying and awakened, as well as the men, because those women who were able to gain their rights of legal rights, to properties. When say in European countries or in England, I would say about England because I don't know much about European countries. What I know about England, I know about it from reading books because I love reading fiction. So I know more about European life by reading fiction or by watching some historical stories about England rather than actual studying the history of England. I like history, but I do not love history that much. I love understanding history through stories. So, as a result, what I have gauged about the British system that was wrong for women was the right of heritage that was wrong. And as a result, especially in the upper echelons of society, when someone was rich and owned a lot of properties and homes, those rights were not getting passed over to the women. So that's where the first laws regarding women's rights started. Likewise, in US, there were two places where it started. One was almost nearly simultaneously. One was the legal rights for African Americans because of slavery. They didn't have the right legal rights. And the other place where it started was for women, because again women didn't have the right legal rights there as well regarding property and other regarding voting and other things like that. So, and then eventually globally, slowly other countries also started emulating the life that was present in England, emulating the life that was present in America, to bring those similar kind of laws in their system. And many of us who are ascensioning and awakening to the oppression of when Britishers came to their country, or Spanish or Portuguese or Danish or different Europeans expanded and went to other countries and started ruling other countries. Even though many of us have those genes where maybe some great grandparents or grandparents had some European ancestry in us. It can be possible for South Americans, it can be possible for Americans, it can be possible for Asians, it can be possible for Africans, it can be possible for Australians. All of us have in us some genetic DNA that is both of the class which most of us on earth currently should have some genetic DNA from both the oppressive class as well as the class that felt oppressed. So that's why within us we have genes and traumas hidden from our ancestry related to being oppressed, but we have also the genes in our ancestry related to having been the rulers of some country or culture for a brief while. But why was this allowed by God? Many people, when they have faced oppression, while we are facing oppression, we don't understand why that oppression happened to us. But looking at India, I can say there was many things that helped women in India. Like if the Britishers hadn't come, and because of learning about more about, and when the Britishers came, some of the rich elite Indians who used to work with the Britishers were able to use the money that they were getting from the Britishers, to which was a part of human greed. But God always flips the script about this greed of humans also for the betterment of humanity. So while there were many Indians who were hobnobbing with the British because they were getting more money from the British, and they became disloyal to the Indian rulers or the Mughal rulers, because when the Britishers came, part of India was ruled by Hindu rulers and part of India was ruled by Muslim rulers, and there was division between these two religions as well in India. That's why outside influences were able to enter, because there was no cohesion and unison happening between Indian rulers and Mughal rulers. And in the midst of all this, the common man was getting subjugated. Their needs were not getting met, and only the rulers' needs or the top class society's needs were being met. As a result, only God allows something more severe to penetrate a society, that is not able to function cohesively, or not able to take up the caretaking of everyone involved in the society in a mutually beneficial manner. Because when Mughals were ruling part of India and Hindus were ruling part of other parts of India, they did have the opportunity to cohesively rule India, and for a while, briefly, I think Akbar tried to do that when he married Hindu princesses, one princess according to the Jodha Akbar story, but he could have married more, or his sons could have married more in Indian Hindu princesses. But despite that, even though some amalgamation of Hindu and Muslim culture happened in India, it wasn't widespread all across India. As a result, not just Britishers, God sent actually different European nations to come and conquer India based on whatever they were guided to do, and based on whatever needs they felt they wanted to get from India that they didn't have in their country or culture. As a result, only some of those rulers from Spain, Portugal, Britain, France, everyone came and entered India, but only the Britishers were able to rule India. Why? Because there was a grander purpose to the English ruling so many continents and countries of the world. And while when they were ruling, they were not always fair to the local population. As a result of the English language, all of us now can communicate with each other globally with the English language. Even if our understanding of the English language may not be as deep, we now have a common unified global language which at least 70% of the world or 60% of the world right now understands. As a result, if globally the whole earth has to unite, which is part of the ascension journey, now there is a common language which unites at least 60%, 70% of the world. Even if your understanding of the English language is broken English, you will still at least discern something from that broken English than if someone was speaking to you in a language which you don't understand at all, right? So as a result, because ascension is part of Earth's next journey, God has to slowly, step by step, build the foundations necessary for the next level that needs to occur on Earth. So while centuries back, all of us who had been oppressed by Britishers had a valid reason to feel oppressed, had a valid reason to feel to be in the victimhood mindset, because we were really victims. They were really our ancestors. I can't say we meaning me, but my ancestors were really victims in some way. Some of my ancestors, I don't know which of my ancestors were the victims, which of my ancestors got the curry favoring from the British for working with the British, that I don't know. But invariably, somewhere in my great grand ancestry, there could be someone who was working with the British and someone who was working against the British. I could have both ancestries in me. Majority of us Indians would likely, because it's been at least hundreds of years since they have left India and given back the Indian rule to Indians. It's been at least 75 years since our independence, and during all these years, we don't know what happened in our great grand ancestry when they were living in India with us, right? So and likewise, there were some of us who have also migrated from India, migrated from the Asian continents or other Australian continents where Britishers used to rule us. And now those people, after having had the education of the English language, after having a wider perspective of the world, there are so many of us like me, because of this English language only, that I was able to study in the English language. I was able to study in schools which had teachings in the English language, which made me competent enough to go and study in another country where English is the major language of that country. I wouldn't have done it if my ancestors, some of those who did have human greed also as a reason for working with the British, didn't have that greed in them. or if they weren't even my ancestors, some of the ancestors of the Indians who live in India, they had something which was a darker energy inside them, which drove them to do some dark things. But as a result and consequence of both the dark things that some of our ancestors have done and the light things that some of our ancestors have done, and the ancestors of our other Indians who were involved in all these things, as a result of their collective action, we in India right now do so many of our functions in India in the English language. Same way, there are other British occupied countries who also included English language in their official work, because it eases the communication gap between countries when you have a unified language to talk with other countries, to build things with other countries, to communicate with other countries. So if globally we want a better world, healthier world, more communicating world, we need that vein that goes through all the, we need that common language, like how we have veins and arteries and circulatory system penetrating every organ of our body, or how we have the skin which is covering the outer covering of our body. We need that on earth. So as a result, we have this English language as the core language which helps in communicating to different parts of the world, right? And if that language hadn't developed, 70-80% of us wouldn't be able to communicate with each other if we traveled, if we love traveling, if we want to explore another culture, and we are getting into this emotional energy of wishing to travel, getting into the thought processes of I want to learn about another culture. Why are twin flames also there on earth? If a twin flame's purpose is not simply to be some twin flames are not just supposed to be a twin flame of someone from the country of origin of yours. If you are an Indian, your twin flame could be a European. If you are American, your twin flame could be a South American. If you are South American, your twin flame could be a Chinese. If you're a Chinese, your twin flame could be African. If you are African, your twin flame could be Australian. So, all kinds of permutation combination has been created by God now. Why? Because like how there has to be a common language that will bring communication to everyone, there has also got to be genetic intermixing and mingling, so that you start gaining wider perspective about different populations and different countries and different cultures. As a result, a twin flame, say, who is in America and his twin flame is a Chinese, now that American, and say he is an American male and the woman is a Chinese female living in China, these women who have gained, who are called the leftover women in China, they have to understand they are the leftover women in China because according to Chinese norms, what they have developed within themselves in according to their skills, knowledge, life experiences, family experiences, religious or philosophical experiences, country based teachings, all these things that they learnt in them is necessary for the future of humanity. But the people in China do not value it. But does that mean these women don't have any value or don't hold any value for the location in which they are living, where they don't have any value? No, it just means they're looking for love and marriage in the wrong places. Same way with the person who might be a twin flame of this Chinese woman. If that person who is a twin flame or supposed to be a soulmate life partner of this Chinese woman, that person's also life experiences would be such that they are also rejecting something, certain things about their culture. They are also accepting certain things from their culture, amalgamating certain things from their culture, learning certain things from their culture, but also trying to let go of certain things from their culture as well. As a result, if an American gets attracted to a Chinese woman, there's a reason why you're getting attracted to Chinese women. Now, after getting attracted, and a Chinese, if she is getting attracted to an American man, there's a reason why she's getting attracted to an American man. But life is not just about attraction. So, if your soul always feels drawn towards a particular language, or a particular skin color, or a particular culture, or a particular way of life, that something which is present in you from a long time usually has a purpose. Now, if it is just attraction is just the superficial purpose, like a candy that or a carrot that God may throw your way, but that candy or what even the devil will throw your way. Now you have to understand beyond the attraction if you want to be aligned to God's ways. So if you are getting attracted all the time to a particular culture, are you attracted to the good things of the culture or the bad things? If you are attracted only to the good things, or you don't understand what the value is of the good and bad things, because there is also a balance that is required in life. So everything that is good can one day be bad, and everything that is bad can one day be good. Everything that we consider as a blessing could actually not end up being a blessing, and everything that we consider as a curse sometimes is our blessing in disguise. So as a result, the blessing in disguise for these Chinese women, or not just Chinese women, this is, I'm just using them as an example, but there are many women like them, even in India, even in Africa, even other countries of the world, who are independent in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or who have some independence in their soul that drove them to get out of a toxic marriage, abusive marriage, or a cruel life circumstance, something or the other that drove some women to get divorced, that drove some women to stay single for a long time, that drove some women to pursue their career more than pursuing their maternal role. But these women, like me, I'm sure, have gone through and are going through, many of these categories of women have been going through great heartaches, heartbreaks, wondering about their purpose in life, as to what are they doing wrong in their life that causes men to either run away from them, men to not pick them over other women, men to not value them over other women. Some women could also start having experiences like I had in my workplace, not just from men. I had experiences from women too, who don't value my knowledge, my wisdom, my way of thinking, and which is okay. And for me to get to this which is okay part took a while, took a couple of decades, took a couple of years, took a couple of even days, depending on what was I working through and why I had to work through it. So when we are going through heartbreak, it's not easy to go through heartbreak. When someone cheats on us, it's not easy to go through that cheating. When someone is being narcissistic towards us, it's not easy to go through that. When someone is abusing us, it is not easy to go through that. And if any of these things happen to you and you broke away from it by focusing more on your career, by focusing on leaving a toxic relationship and not continuing onwards on a toxic relationship, when you let go of the wrong things that were causing you trouble, you did a right thing. Even though right now the fruit of what you did in the past that led you to become more studious, or led you to become more independence and finance oriented, that led you to become more focused in developing a professional life, or that led you to whatever it led you to be currently in your life, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, doesn't matter and matters at the same time. What doesn't matter is that if you are feeling the grief, it is necessary for you to feel the grief, feel the heartbreak, feel heartbroken, feel betrayed, feel cheated. Whatever darkness you experience, that darkness was necessary, because in that darkness you have now created a solid foundation of what is necessary for you to feel content, balanced, secure in a relationship or in your life. And if you haven't yet built that foundation, yet understood what was the purpose of these 30, 40, 50 years of anguish, pain, abuse, rejecting or being rejected by guys, rejecting certain guys, being rejected by certain guys, rejecting certain traditional ways of living that doesn't align with you anymore. All these things you rejected because there were certain things in you that are meant to work against certain things that you have rejected. But after you have gone through and processed your grief, after you have done some emotional healing, after you have done some trauma healing, after you have healed from some of your betrayals, after you have healed from any of the darknesses that you had faced, I am trying to help those women who are working through the darkness or who have stepped over their darkness. Even after stepping over the darkness, we can be in a phase where either again the darkness can pull us back, or we can be at a phase called the holding pattern of life, where we are holding and waiting for some relationship to manifest, for some marriage to manifest, for some better quality life to manifest. And while you are in that holding pattern, now what is the next thing we need to do is, because I went through this holding pattern a few years back, I'm still going through some aspects of holding pattern even now in my life. And what I understood from this holding pattern phase, first, for me what showed up was a hope of a twin flame being there in the world, and that gave me some courage, that gave me the strength to understand, okay, even if I am not finding all these men that I experienced. For me personally, what happened was I experienced heartbreak in marriage, I experienced heartbreak and cheating and those kind of things in outside marriage. And in marriage, cheating happens in different levels. It's not just about sexual cheating. Cheating can happen emotionally. Cheating can happen with husbands prioritizing something outside of the family life, like their work life, or boyfriends prioritizing more things outside of the family life, like being more involved with their colleagues, being more involved in their work life, being more social with their colleagues, being more outgoing with their colleagues or other friends or other family, than investing that same equitable amount of energy in the family life. So any of those women who were frustrated with the men who do these kind of tactics in their life, and then there are those men who manipulate you into thinking they are the greatest men, who will manipulate you into drawing you into their lives, but you will realize after being drawn into the lives of those men that they weren't the right partners for you. So, and this can happen to men too. It's not that just women experience this, but even though I'm making this video for women, if it is resonating to you as a man as well, please do listen to the video. It's not about the particular gender, but it is about the suffering of the human condition, where we are disconnected from the opposite gender and are in a holding pattern. But there's a purpose to this. The reason why you have to be disconnected from some of the things related to the opposite gender, or not have a married life for a while briefly, or not have a dating life for a few decades or few years, is mandatory, so that you crystallize within yourself what is it that will bring you joy if you had a particular kind of partnership in your life. Because first, if you don't reject the things that are bringing you distress, that bring you problems, that bring you drama, or bring you emotional betrayal, sexual betrayals, if you don't address those problem zones, and not just the problem zones in the opposite gender, but within yourself too, you have to do both. Because while like, say, if you are not a secure woman, if your man is cheating, you won't understand why he is cheating. When you are a secure woman, you will understand why he is cheating. When you are a secure and intuitive, you have to be secure also, and you have to be intuitive too. If you are secure and intuitive, you will understand why he is cheating. Like for me, my first boyfriend, when he was cheating, or when we were having fights and emotional conflicts, it was happening because he wants respect from me, but he doesn't give me back the same respect. But I know myself, and I know where I can give respect, where I can't give respect. I can't give respect to a man if he is sexually doing something to me which I don't feel comfortable with. I can't give love also to a man if he is not emotionally faithful to me. And what I know in my inner core soul is the next life phase that I want to take, which happened with the second boyfriend. He was emotionally, he was sexually not very sexually very respectful and everything, but in the emotional level he was not respectful. In the emotional level, not respectful meaning he didn't have the emotional depth to create the right relationship with me. What depth I require from a partner, if I don't get that depth likewise from another partner, it's not going to work. Then, and I have had in between other men who are trying to build an emotional depth based on false paradigms and manipulations. Even with those men, it didn't work out. It just briefly worked out, and and God made me also look to in their eyes of all these men. I also interacted with them in such a way that was unpalatable or unacceptable to them. As a result, it didn't work out. For them, for some it could be too much drama, for some it could be too much conflict, for some it could be she's too ordinary looking, for some it could be she's too attached, emotionally attached to still her ex-boyfriend. So like that, everyone judged me in a particular way, and I understood how they are judging me, either while in that interaction and relationship with them or afterwards. How they are judging me, I understood, and that judgment is necessary for me. Why? To gain a broader perspective about myself. Because while they judged me, it was the appropriate thing for them to do. While I judged them, it was the right thing for me to do, because they were not the right partners for me. So when women or men are told that you are being too picky, you're not being too picky. You understand yourself better. That's why you understand why this is not the right partner. When someone is judged for being too protesting, when you're protesting too much that this is not working out for me, no, it is necessary for you to first tell what if there are too many things that are not working for you. That is the only time when a woman or a man will express in some active ways or passive ways why things are not working out in a relationship. That's why you have relationship conflict zones. You should have relationship conflict zones, because from that friction you will understand either how to combine together and merge a better path, or you will learn how to dissolve something that is not working. Because like if you are walking, if you understand the mechanics of walking, there has to be some correct friction on the ground for you to keep moving forward and having momentum. That friction may be on the ground, maybe on the air, or maybe both places. If the road is too much up and down, or if the air around you is too much windy and stormy and like a tsunami like wind, you can't walk. Okay, that friction is over friction, then it's excess friction, then you can't walk. If there is a wind and storm happening around you, you won't be able to walk. Unless you have the power to withstand storm, you won't be able to walk. Same way, if the road has too much friction in it and it's too much rubble filled, and you have never walked on a rubble filled road, you will fall and slip and fall, and you again can't walk. Only someone who knows how to walk through a rubble filled road can maybe walk, right? So there is a level and comfort level at which we can walk. There is a comfort level and life experience level that we all can navigate in our life. And when the partner that we meet is not able to navigate it together with us at the same comfort level of as ours, that is when friction arises. Now if these two partners, if they are in a marriage or in a relationship and are able to understand each other's comfort zones and work with those comfort zones, and are able to provide the right comfort to their partner, right security to their partner, right care and love to the partner, and not just provide but also equitably receive it from them, that is when a relationship stays balanced. That is when a woman doesn't get depressed in a marriage, feel lonely in a marriage. That is when a man doesn't feel that he's getting taken advantage of, right? But in order to build this comfortable zone also, sometimes those couples have to also let go of the things that they have considered as a comfort zone, because some of those are false paradigms, and that's what you've come to learn as a couple with your partner. And those people who are able to understand that what do they have to let go, which belief system do they have to let go to make this partnership work, that partnership only can work. And if you're not able to let go of certain belief systems, and you're too staunch in certain belief systems, your partner is too staunch in certain other belief systems, are you going to have a cohesive, compatible marriage? Even if you continue onwards for 10-20 years, if your belief systems aren't able to merge and mesh with each other, if your comfort zones aren't able to merge and mesh with each other, if you are not able to provide like the security, care, health, healing, nurturing, whatever conditions each other needs, if you're not able to meet each other's needs, or only one person is being the taker and is not giving back exactly what, or appropriately what the other partner needs, there will always be a imbalance. And sometimes, most of us, when we are in the grief stage of a separation from a relationship, or we have had a fight from our partner and are separated temporarily with them, we are always looking at what the other person did that is not meeting our need. But it's just the balance of life, that if your partner is not meeting your needs, it is also equally true that you are also not meeting their needs. That's why when the two people who I dated and consider as my boyfriends, them when they were straying away from me, I could see where I'm not meeting their needs, and I could also see, and at that point of time only, I didn't need post separation reflection. While the separation phase, or like breaking apart phase, was going on, at that time I intuitively knew. And both these men were the kind who don't verbalize their emotions, and I've grown up with a dad also who doesn't verbalize his emotions. I've grown up with a mom, my dad only verbalizes the extreme crisis emotion. My mom never verbalized any of her crisis stages. So as a result, intuitively I have the empathetic ability, because that gave me a very grief-stricken or neglect-filled childhood. But at the same time, the complementary blessing towards that curse of not having parents who understood me was that I understand my parents better. So even if there are 10 human beings who don't understand me around me, it doesn't mean that I don't understand them. I understand them more than they understand themselves. Sometimes I understand them even if they don't verbalize what they want to express when they are unhappy in a relationship. But what has been my problem zone then with all these people that I have dated or tried to consider for marriage? The problem zone is, if I don't have that equitable level partner whose level of competency in understanding another human being is the same level of competency as mine, or same level meaning in some ways they have to have a competency which is similar to mine, and in some ways they might even have a little less competency. It doesn't matter if they have less competency, because it means they have more competency in something. The ideal partner will have competency about something which I don't have a competency in. That is how a relationship balances. Because if you knew everything, then you wouldn't be on earth. We don't know something, that's why we are on earth, to learn something, to learn about certain ways of life. And everyone who knows many things also still may not know certain things, and it's necessary to have that absence of knowledge as well, so that you can learn it that from a complementary partner. So those paradigms which tell women and men that you are whole in yourself is partly true and partly false. What are you whole in yourself? You are whole in yourself being an individual within your own rights. But you are also not whole being that you are part of a grand scheme of tapestry of human existence. That's why every human you meet in every human who is part of your family or friendship circle or social group or professional group. With them you have to learn something and you have to teach something. That's the general paradigm. Give and take, equal give and take has to keep on happening. And those human beings who don't, and equal give and take, not in the business sense that I give you $1, you give me $1 back. No, that is not called equal give and take. If I have given you $1, you can give me back, instead of $1, love. If I have given you $1, instead of giving me back love, meaning you can give me maybe a hug. If I have given you $1 and I'm just $1 is a random amount, you can give someone $1,000 also to get a hug. You can give someone $1 also to get a hug. It's up to you. But if you have the capacity to give someone $1,000 and get a hug, should you give $1,000 or should you give $1 to get that hug? Right? Same way, and especially if you have love missing in your life where no one is there to hug you, what should you do? If you have a lot of money, like this is the story of the Tiny Tim story from Christmas Carol. He eventually understood, the Scrooge understood that whatever money he was, I don't know if his name, I think his name was Scrooge. He understood that whatever money he has accumulated all his life has no value unless he has family to spend it with. He saw Tiny Tim's family and then he eventually spent it on that family. But if you don't want to become and go till the age of Scrooge to realize this, can you realize this in your 40s and 30s and start doing that? So same way with all those women like me or men like me who have had heartbreaks, who have had partners cheating on them, who have had a little lack of love from their significant partner or a lot of lack of love from their partners, who are not feeling the love of the family when they need it because the family is not able to meet their need. Firstly, if you have a large family or a small family, ask them to meet that need. If they still don't meet that need, then it is time to go to strangers, because this happened to me when I was in my sickest, when I was in my worst health, when I was in some financial blockages set by the universe to put me in a holding pattern. I faced these 3 challenges in the last few years, and when I faced these 3 challenges, when I had a little lack of love happening in my life, I asked my family, will you come and visit me? Will you come and stay with me? It was their learning lesson that while some of them are going around traveling the world, spending money traveling the world, and why are they traveling? Any one of us who gets this spirit of travel doesn't have true love in their own life. That is when mostly the spirit of travel takes over our life. You don't understand true love, you don't know how to give true love, or you are in a love situation where you don't know how to create true love with your family. That's why you are traveling. I'm not saying there aren't travelers who don't understand spirit of true love. That is not what I'm saying. But majority of people who are traveling don't have some aspect of true love in their life. That's why they're searching it outside themselves and searching it in an experience, searching it and also searching it in a very fractured experience with their family than joint. Because I have seen both families who are traveling who do have the spirit of love in them and they are enjoying the true experience of the travel with each other, and also families both in my family, outside my family life. I have observed it in both places. And there are people who are traveling who are just traveling for the sake of traveling with each other. They might be family, they might be friends. And I've traveled many times by myself, a few times by myself in the last few years, and many times with a lot of family or friends. But even though I have traveled with family and friends when I was in my younger age, I have had equal level of loneliness in many of those phases when traveling with someone and when traveling by myself. And I have also had equal enjoyment when traveling with someone, interacting with strangers, because I am a social person. I love interacting with strangers. So every time I was interacting with a stranger, and I love learning about them, their life story, their life history, or imparting my life story and life history. So when I was traveling alone, I was imparting more knowledge about my life story and history. But that doesn't mean I don't observe what is their life story and history, both from what they have said to me and from what they didn't say or do. Everything, if you are a master of learning, you can learn from both. You can learn from speaking with a stranger. You can learn from simply observing something about a stranger. It is all about your learning, your experience. What are you experiencing at that point of time? What are you supposed to experience at that point of time, right? And sometimes if you don't immediately capture everything that happened when you were in the now moment of an experience, that's why there are people who journal, who make videos, who make blogs, so that what they missed when they were experiencing it, they can recapture it, some good moment, or maybe they can live that experience if they were feeling sad and joyless. Or at a future date, you can look at your own videos, own photography, own memories of those days, to find out both the good and bad from what you had experienced. Because these self reflections, if you do a little bit more of these sometimes, and if you're not getting stuck in the experience of the past, then it is beneficial to reflect about the past. Then it is beneficial to understand something from the past. But if you are getting too much stuck in the past, then also you are not living in the present moment, and then you are failing to live in the present moment with those who are around you in your life. And because maybe I had failed in the past to do that, to be in the now moment of some experiences with certain family, they didn't value the experience that they would get maybe in other times when I have changed. I'm not the same person as who I was 10 years back. So if they are remembering me from a 10-year back version of me, or even a 10-day back version of me, they are not giving credence to the current version of me that was asking them to come and stay with me. And it was not that I was asking selfishly, hey, X person, come and stay with me. X person had a need. Like some person who I asked to come and stay with me, they are lonely. They don't have any, they have a big social circle, they have everything, but they are still lonely. So if they want to have a different experience about their loneliness, and I understand loneliness, why? Because I have been lonely for 40 years of my life. So, and more lonely than them. But even then, I can understand their root cause of loneliness, because the one who has experienced the most pain about certain circumstance also has the capacity to understand the depth and levels of that pain. So when God has given you some pain, some heartbreak, some suffering related to not having a marital life, you have to understand the depth first of what is gone wrong in your life, or in the lives of the people whom you have been wishing to date, or you have actually dated, or who you did actually marry. And after looking at the long lens of it, you have to understand what needs to be preserved, what needs to be destroyed. That which needs to be destroyed in you and preserved in you is up to you. That which needs to be destroyed and preserved in another human being is up to them. But if that human being was not compatible with you, you did make the right choice of leaving that relationship. You did make the right choice of not marrying someone who was not compatible with you. You did make the right choice of rejecting those boys whose value you didn't understand, or who really didn't give you that value that you needed in your life. Because there's always a duality going on there. Some people, if you reject based on, even if you have rejected about using some superfluous reasons, it is not necessary that that superfluous reason also will not be God's way of just separating something that should be separated. But if you used a superfluous reason for discrediting someone, or not if it was not a right aligned path for you to choice for you to do, eventually you have to wake up to what are the choices in your life that you could shift a little, or make a different lens come up about another human being. Like in China, what I have understood from some of my brief acquaintances I had in US, they told me that in China, in the villages, one child policy is not there. So as a result, the people in Chinese village areas have had a little bit more family oriented life. They had a little less independence oriented life. Now if there is an independence oriented woman living in a city of China and feeling lonely, and she's not comfortable dating someone outside of Chinese culture. It is time for her to start reconsidering these men in the village areas who might be looking for a wife. And yes, being a professional woman, you don't need to go absolute interior of China. Go somewhere in the middle first and see if in the middle areas you can find someone. If you're living in a highly fashionable city of China and you have also got this inner soul calling that this fashionable city of China is not working for me, and I'm not talking about just Chinese women. Same thing is applicable if you are living in, say, New York City, or if you're living in London, or if you're living in Mumbai like me, and there is a soul call within you that Mumbai lifestyle is not suiting me anymore. I am not finding the love, care, whatever you need, you're not finding it there anymore. If your soul is calling you to explore the world, first maybe explore the world around you. If you want to explore the world, do that. If you don't want to explore the world, if you know what it is you are seeking love, try to open your horizons about the love you're seeking. But in the meantime, also understand, at the time when you are seeking someone and they are seeking you, you have to also start gauging now better discernment about which kind of men to pick. Ask men better questions, because men are never questioned. Now these men that we usually date in our 40s and 50s, sometimes there are men who will just waste our time. They are just there for sleeping with the woman, or they are just there for even if they are thinking they want a woman, they are not ready to have a woman in their life, which is what happened to me. I saw outwardly that this guy was ready to marry. He was also living with his parents, and I wanted, because I was so tired of men who are just flirting around and sleeping around and cheating. I didn't want that kind of a guy, so I thought, okay, this guy is less likely to cheat because he's living with his parents. He'll be more conservative. So I went ahead and married him, and there were some fake synchronicities that showed up, which made me think, okay, everything is coinciding in the right way, so let's marry. Then I got a culture shock. Why? Because though I thought this person was also from Mumbai, I was also from Mumbai origin, we would have some similar cultural experiences. No, his cultural experiences were very different from mine. Then the second similarity or synchronicity that had showed up was that his family had lived in US for around the same number of decades as me, like 1-2 years off. So while I was also there in US for about 12 years, their family was also nearly 11-12 years in US. Again, different experience, very different experience. Why? Because this guy was consistently living with his family. So he has only learnt about family life and how to coexist with family. He doesn't understand and value independent women at all. And when he was given a chance to be independent, he didn't embrace the independence. So he doesn't know how to be an independent man also. And for me, I know how to be an independent woman. I had to struggle being not just an independent woman, but also as a lonely child, I had to struggle with that. Also as a lonely adult where no family, near zero family is communicating with me, I had to struggle with that. So who will be my ideal partner? My ideal partner, my complementary person might be someone who has a large family. But even if that person who is a large family person doesn't value a independent woman or what a independent woman brings to the table, independent and educated in many degrees. These are my 3 problem zones according to most and majority men. Because, and not just majority men who I have dated, majority men in my personal life, in my friendship circle as well. Men are not, if a man can't handle my 3 different degrees of education and devalues those degrees, can I exist with them as a life partner? Should I exist with them as a life partner? It's a disrespect to myself if I'm existing with someone who doesn't value my degrees. Now, if from my educational thing I'm teaching the wrong thing, and I have a man who stops me that this is where you're going wrong, I will value that man. I am not averse to men who are telling me that I am wrong when I'm actually wrong. But there are certain things intuitively I know I am actually right, because from my degree also, many people from my own degrees are now against me right now. Why? Because I'm teaching something that vaccines are not the right solution to COVID. Why? Because I got the intuitive insight while I was in the holding pattern, while I was not working professionally for a few years, while I had actually gone completely away from my pharmacy background. I was only focusing on spirituality and emotional health and mental health because I was a lonely divorcee living in a country where being a divorcee is a curse, being a woman can also become a curse, being in a family where you are an opinionated woman is a 10-degree curse. So having all these factors running against me, what was crystallizing when I was facing all these friction? The thing that was crystallizing was, what is the right soul aligned path for me? What is the heart aligned path for me? What kind of family life can I be capable of sustaining, and what kind of family life I have to and I must reject? I can't reject and live, I can't accept and live with family. And because this was part of my experience, I felt severely sick also. So severely physically sick, near to cancer levels. But even then, I had not a single family member understand that I had cancer, understand that I'm going near cancer, understand that I'm going near severe sickness where 90% of the things that human beings around me are doing are harmful to my health. So because I didn't have a single human being understand that, does it mean what I was going through was a negligible experience or a invalid experience or a not needed experience? No. Each of those suffering that I went through, which no one else understood, who understood the value of it? Universe and God. Because what I was experiencing is related to the work I have done as a pharmacist, as well as work as I have done that were wrong kinds of work in my personal and professional life. And those wrong kinds of things that I had done that were health unsupportive, I have to change at the individual level, definitely, which I had already changed. But the thing that I had to change now in the next degree is at the social level, at the emotional level, at finding the right emotional level, friendship circle, family circle. Otherwise, I have realized that being lonely is better, but being lonely is actually not better. Being lonely also takes you towards cancer. Not having right people take care of you also worsens your cancer. Not having right social and community circumstances that facilitate good health also takes you towards disease and death. These are the learnings that I got. These are the things I post about in my other website about healthcare and in my other posts. But I am putting it here in this video because every woman is right now who is single, who got divorced, who got separated, has to understand first what are the things in her own life that she has done that is causing a relationship to fracture, and also what are the things that are necessary for a good relationship to be built with her, but only if she finds the right partner for herself. If I find a partner who is all the time smoking, all the time either busy with friends, all the time busy with work, all the time busy with making money, all the time busy with only solving family problems, none of these, or if they are not busy with any of it, they are the homebodies, they are with me, but they don't care if I am sick. When I am sick, I need this help. If I am asking them to get simple water, they are not able to get me water. If I have some financial blocks happening because my brain is not functioning, I can't remember my passwords, whatever the reason was that I am having a financial block, if they can't provide me a simple right monetary help at the right time when I need it, for some provision that I need, that they are also not even willing to go and buy for me, then what will I do? What will I do? I went through all these things in the last 5-6 years, and what did I do? First of all, when I was going through a phase where nothing was working out, I left everything to God. I even left the part that I knew energy healing, I knew chantings, I knew prayers, I knew certain websites which will help me with healing and everything. But what was the point of myself getting healed if at that point of time, nothing else supports the healing. If I don't have right family connection, if I don't have right social connection, if I don't have right finances to do something in life, if I don't have right finances to even go and buy the right quality food, and I am stuck with someone who doesn't know what is good quality food, who doesn't know how to bring good quality food, who, if I tell them this is what is good quality food, they are not willing to listen. This is bad quality food, they are not willing to listen. If I exist, and that was one aspect of family life I had. Then I traveled. In travel industry also, if they are not keeping their thing health supportive, again, someone who has cancer can't travel. I shouldn't be traveling while having cancer, but that was my last resort. That's why I was traveling. Not because I enjoy traveling. I don't enjoy traveling by myself, and I also don't enjoy traveling just because I want to have fun and I have nothing better to do in my life. I have many things to do better in my life. I have hobbies. I love painting, I love stitching, I love knitting. I can be by myself for many years of my life without human contact, because that is how my childhood was. But many hours of my childhood was like that. Many hours of my adulthood was also like that. And like this, there are many women on earth who have gone through the same phase. That's why they are more ready to be with a partner who will not focus on only money, not focus on only friends, not focus on only solving crisis of family, everyone else except their own wives. If there are women like that who are like me, who are fed up, because what will you do with money if your wife is also earning money, you are also earning money, if both of you are unhealthy suddenly, or if your child falls unhealthy and severely sick with cancer, because cancer, covid, diseases that doctors don't understand and write as categorized as autoimmune or idiosyncratic diseases, these diseases are the modern world diseases. Mental health illnesses, whatever is happening, if you have a mental health illness or breakdown, or your partner has a mental health illness and breakdown, if you didn't build a life where you can cohesively understand that each other, when each other is falling apart and doesn't know how to bring back the partner back to not falling apart levels, be it physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, if you are not if you haven't developed that skill with that partner, is any marriage of any benefit to anyone when they are falling apart? Be it marriage, be it family life. I went through this in marriage, I went through this before marriage with boyfriends, I went through this after marriage with my own I don't know if they are my biological family or not, but with my family who I know as my biological family, none of them understood when I am in distress, I'm in severe distress, and my education tells me if you don't stop XYZ things, then I will die, or I will go into severe cardiac arrest, or I will go into liver failure, or I'll go into something or the other that I was going through at that time. And none of them understood this. None. But only person who understood it was God. And that's why I told God that if I am going into heart failure or liver failure or any other kind of failure, I might as well die, because my education was of no value to anyone. Any kind of education, be it spiritual education, be it the professional education, be it education about how to be happy when you don't have anything to be happy about. Nothing was working. So right now God is forcing me to cry, because I really literally have nothing to be happy about. But still I smile most of the days. These days are very less in my life. These moments are also very less, because I've decided to give up on this. I was depressed for many years and I've cried like this every time someone cheated on me, every time someone didn't take care of me the way I deserve to be taken care of. Okay. So even though I've cried, maybe internally, maybe externally, maybe inside a room, maybe even outside in front of strangers, I've done all kinds of crying. But even though I have done this crying, And even though God understands the purpose of my crying, even though I understand the purpose of my crying, if I don't exist or coexist with the right kind of humans who value this, my life is simply worthless. It doesn't matter what education I have, it doesn't matter what money I have, it doesn't matter how much professionally qualified I can become. I can tomorrow, even with cancer, go and get some part-time job somewhere, do some minimal work. I can. But what is the point of me doing that minimal work and continuing a life with cancer when things that are needed to prevent this cancer from existing is not there in the world? What is the point of, even if I have money in my bank right now, when my financial blocks went away, with that money, if I go to a doctor and get a treatment for this cancer, if after that treatment everything around my life is filled with people or social circumstances or community collective living circumstances, which just keeps piling again chemicals and emotional toxins and other abuse or everything, every kind of thing that can make someone die from cancer. What is the point? Yeah, I can have fun understanding, oh, I beat cancer, but what is the point of beating cancer? Nothing. It doesn't matter if I beat cancer, if I am having a lonely life by myself, the just one person. And in this time, yeah, to beat loneliness, many women think they will go and have a baby. But what will you do with that baby again if you don't have a quality of life experience with that baby? Or God blesses some people, some couples with a baby, and they think that that is the thing that will join them. No, if you are a couple in a troubled marriage and you have a baby, now you have added another trouble to your marriage. Because if you have in a conflict-ridden marriage, in a marriage where you are not right for each other, and then you have a child also in that marriage. So there are many couples who I shouldn't judge this, but I am judging it because of only one reason. I know a couple of many friends and or acquaintances who have had in vitro fertilization to have their children, but what, they have already done it, their children are already born, they can't do anything about it. But any future couple who is having in vitro fertilization problems, either in the man or in the woman or both, and is thinking of going and doing surrogacy or in vitro fertilization or anything like that, or even thinking of adopting a child, they all need to first understand, if your body is not healthy, and I'm gonna make a second video on this topic. Let's come back to the women. I'm going to digress, and it's also a 1 hour video already. But for all single women who are grief stricken like me, who don't have the right quality care in their life, who don't have the right quality partner in their life, who are angry, who are depressed, who are grief stricken, who are wondering what did they do wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. 90% of the things you're doing is exactly what you were supposed to be doing. There might be some 10% things that you did wrong, but that 10% thing that you did wrong, you can sit and reflect and change about yourself. But you can only change for the right partner if the right partner shows up in your life. And if you are the kind of a go-getter woman, then do some research on which kind of a man might be the right person for you. But more than doing that research, surrender to God, surrender to God's ways, surrender to God's will, because I literally had to surrender to God's ways about first whether I should live or die. I surrendered that. Once I surrendered that, God said you have to live. So once I lived, that's when I started traveling. Once my financial blocks went away, some money that I had given to someone was given back to me. That money I used in traveling. And when I traveled, I found out even more reasons of why cancer causing factors are present in different lifestyles across India when I was traveling in India. And when I had traveled in US, I also realized from my past experiences what is it that have led to my cancer from my past history as well. So after all that, now I am writing, that's why, or talking about both the cancer related things but also the spirituality related things, because I also understood certain things about spirituality, certain things about emotional health. And the thing is, currently, if a man wants a sane, stable, healthy quality relationship with a woman, and a woman wants this with a man, you have to begin at multiple levels to bring that into your life. Especially those men and women who have hit their middle ages and are looking for a quality relationship. If you want truly a quality relationship, you have to improve your physical health, sustaining parameters in your life. You have to improve your mental health sustaining parameters in your life. You have to improve your social health sustaining parameters in your life. You have to improve your familial health sustaining factors in your life, country specific also factors of your life. If you are staying in the country in which you are born, if you're traveling to a new country for the sake of new love, then now is the time for you to amalgamate not just your country's experiences, learn from another country's experiences, and also amalgamate not just what your physical life experiences and your thinking has brought into picture as the right way of living. You have to use your heart too to understand what is the right way of living. You have to also use God now, because right now many things are going wrong. What has gone wrong in my life is just an indicator of parts of things that are going wrong in parts of populations, of different kinds of populations in the world. It's not a unique experience to me. If say 10 things have gone wrong in my life, 5 things are going wrong in other people's lives too. It's just that they're not as self-aware as I am, or they are not as troubled as I am to become as self-aware about these troubles. I'm more aware because I had more life experiences and more space of rest and phases of disconnection from humanity to understand what humanity is doing wrong at the deeper level. I understand this at the deeper level. I can help teach you at this at the deeper level as well, both spiritually as well as normal material earth life, scientifically what is going wrong. But spiritually or scientifically, whichever path is going wrong in your life, understand that just earning money is not the solution. If you leave also, and there are many women who are fearful that if they leave their jobs for a man, that's why they don't also leave sometimes for a man, or a man who is fearful that if he leaves his job for a woman, what will he do? That's a correct fear to have. But if God has guided you to leave your job for a woman, or God is guiding you to leave your job for a man, and even if it is not God, it is something else that is driving you to leave, maybe there is a deeper reason for you to leave. So think about it. If you have left something, if you are supposed to leave something, because if you were really truly guided by God to leave and go and live with a woman and then it didn't work out, there is a lesson there as well, because then you had to learn, did you leave for the right woman? Maybe you didn't leave for the right woman. Because if you want a kind partner, a softer partner who caretakes you, who takes care of your health, who loves you deeply and in the depth of emotions level that you want from them, do you also have to be that partner to the woman as well now, or vice versa? What you expect from a partner, you have to also first give, and what you give, if you don't receive, that means that is the wrong partner. You can see and wait and see if they will develop that quality to bring back what you are giving, not again in a transactional way, but in a very effortless flowing way. If that what you give and what you receive is not in balance within you or them or both, it is not going to work out. So be grateful if it didn't work out, that you moved to a different city for a woman and it didn't work out. Be grateful that if it didn't work out, if you moved to a different city for a man and it didn't work out, because in that experience is the kernel of the thing that will work out with the right person for you. Because most of us just get married when we are lonely, or when even after we are divorced from someone or separated from someone. Many of us eventually, because we're not structured also biologically or emotionally to live by ourselves. We need to connect. But we need to connect to nature, we need to connect to life forms around us, we need to also connect to many different kinds of humans who understand this deeply. We need to connect to God. So anyone who has gone into a isolation phase, heartbreak phase, where they are completely alone and people around them are not understanding their life problems, or people around them are adding to their life problems instead of helping them release the burden of those life problems, it means you are with the wrong people. You have to start finding the right soul tribe for you, the right kind of people who are aligned with you towards going in that right way of living that is needed to actually have a quality of life experience. And also that isolation phase is a phase to understand, what have I done wrong that I can change, what have I done wrong that I need to change, to shift to going towards meeting these people who are more aligned with me. And should I just go to someone who only shows a superficial alignment, or do I need to delve deeper into whether there is actually true alignment and true cohesiveness and compatibility possible with them? Many matrimonial sites, I've used many matrimonial sites also initially, the ones like eHarmony and other couple of websites, both of Indian or like shadi.com and Bharat Matrimony, also eHarmony, and the other website competitor of eHarmony, match.com. I had used them, but while they're matching me with someone, and while these websites were also trying to, based on whatever I've written or how I look, people are matching with each other. That's again, these websites are again at a superficial level of matching. The core essence of a human being's matching mostly can only be done by God. These websites can aid in you into getting in touch with some like-minded superficial level people, but if you're looking for a deeper connection, always that deeper connection will come in your personal interaction with someone. Very rarely does it happen with a it can happen. I'm not saying that good quality marriages can't sprout out of all these online websites, but depending on the quality of experience you're looking and the quality of experience you sought before marrying someone you found from these websites also, you will eventually end up having the quality of life with them. And they have to be also as dedicated as you to having a one-on-one good quality relationship. If your partner is interested in mostly having social relationships and you are interested in mostly having a family life, you can't be compatible with them. If your partner is mostly wanting to be a workaholic while you are the kind who wants to have equal work life and equal home life, again, it can't be the right partnership. And these websites don't tell you what is the core essence of your being. Where do you like focusing your time? Where would you like to focus on your time? Again, if there are two people where both people are homebodies, but one person is a homebody whose mind is filled with garbage about sex, and the other person's mind is filled with spiritual stuff, again, can you be a mutually compatible partnership? You may all say in your post that I love to be at home with my family. Yes, both want to be at home with their family, but one wants only nasty sexual experiences. Can that be your partner if you don't want nasty sexual experiences? You have to say no to those people, right? And can you find out about someone's nastiness simply by talking with them? You have to use your intuition to understand whether this person's energy is nasty, this person's words are nasty, whether they are in that frame of mind where they're only like doing things that are misaligned with you. If they are, you can't be with them. And that's why you need your intuition. That's why you need both those women who are single, or even those men who are single for some reason or the other in their middle ages or later ages, and also have a soul feeling that they want to be in a good quality relationship. You have to not just develop your masculine skills of independence, freedom, financial freedom, healthy financial life. That is one aspect. The other aspect is you have to develop your softer skills of understanding and perceiving another human. After you have perceived another human, understanding yourself and them, to understand whether intuitively you can be cohesive with each other for a long time as a life partner. And that long time is necessary. Very few partnerships will be short-term partnership if you get married, right? And I made those mistakes. That's why I'm telling you, I didn't do this analysis. I initially knew what to say no to. I have always known what to say no to, but at the point of time when I said yes to someone, when my heart was actually telling me don't say yes to him, but my mind was saying yes, say yes to him, because superficially many things matched up at the mental level, and at the thinking level it seemed like the right thing. So, and I was emotionally at the worst phase of my life at that time. Even though I was dying near death right now, 10 years, almost 8-10 years after I had been married and divorced, even then my worst phase of life was actually before I married and made the poor choice of marrying someone. My worst phase of life is not right now, even though I am in the miserable quotient wise, I am in the worst phase. Why? Because right now God is with me, and God is guiding some of the things I do. Not everything, because I am not yet balanced completely, but when I am balanced, God is guiding me. Whereas at that time I was completely lonely, no one was there to guide me, even though God was there at that time also. God only was saying don't marry this person, but I still married and went through a crisis of that marriage related thing. But in that mistake also, what I have learned hopefully can benefit other mid-30s people who are just feeling so lonely that they just want to remarry, or feeling mid-30s, mid-40s, mid-50s, who have maybe divorced from a partner and rethinking that divorce. Don't rethink it. If you have separated from the partner and rethinking separation, at that time maybe there is still chance of working on the separation if both partners are working on it. If both are not working, then you wanting to work and the other person not wanting to work is not going to make it a quality relationship. If you have let go of a partnership while you were dating someone and you're miserable, and that's why you want to go back to that old relationship, again you can go back to a old relationship, but only if the other person's maturity level and depth of reflection and quality of life experience has shifted and to align with you. If it hasn't shifted to align with your needs, it will not work. That's why also many things didn't work in my current life with my current family, because none of them are willing to realign some of their thought processes, some of their knowledge, some of their wisdom, to give way to the right way of wisdom to support someone who is really sick. And that's why in both these families many people have died. Even though there are doctors in our family, people are still dying. Why? Because those doctors are not ready to shift, those family people are not ready to shift to understand what is better quality healthcare, better quality paradigms necessary to bring healthcare. Medicine is only one part of healing someone, but if other parameters that are actually needed to heal someone, which is food, nutrition, air, water, life circumstances that support health, if they are absent, you fall sicker and sicker. And even if you get medicines for it, if the harms present in your life outweigh the benefits of what you are taking as a treatment, eventually those people die as a result of it. That's why there are still COVID deaths happening in countries where people have been vaccinated completely, or 95% of the population is vaccinated, revaccinated. Even then there are so many people dying in those countries or suffering through long COVID, because the things that added to people's death haven't stopped. Coronavirus was the last thing that caused people to die. Even someone having cancer is the last stage of many things that went wrong in their body. Someone who has multiple organ failure happening, multiple things in their life are wrong that are impacting multiple organs in their body. That's why they are dying. It's not a joke that people are dying from multiple diseases also sometimes right now. But if doctors only think a patient is dying from one disease and stop focusing on the other factors that are causing that person to die, that is what also needs to shift and change. Another thing, I had multiple problems. I am still surviving just because I am strong, and I had faced these same troubles in past life experiences in smaller scale. So my body has developed some resistance to these toxins in some ways, and the places where I didn't develop the resistance to these say abuse related toxin, people not listening to considering what is needed for my safer health, that thing has been happening to me for 40 years. Many of my family and friends ignore what is better for my health because they don't understand I am sick. But just because they don't understand I am physically sick or I am physically very sensitive to many toxins doesn't mean that I have to also consider. If my friends say, like say if you are going trekking, you are wearing shoes that are wrong for trekking, even if your friend tells you to go, come with us, should you use your intuition and personal knowledge that my shoe is not helping me climb this mountain, that's why I shouldn't climb? If you have personal knowledge that your hands are feeling weak and your muscles are aching, even if your friends are climbing, should you be climbing with them? No. So medicine, therapy, things that are supportive of health related to our body, we only know the maximum. Even doctors sometimes don't know more than us if they are not supposed to know more than us, right? If the doctor is open to knowing more, then only he will know more. If the doctor is only limited to what he learned from 20 years back, 30 years back, or whatever he is learning, that has so far shown up in studies, that is also limited knowledge, and which is what most doctors are practicing currently. They only look at what has shown up already in the data. They don't understand what is the trajectory of showing up. Many doctors don't understand that trajectory of life, which comes with intuition. It doesn't come with just physical knowledge, it comes with intuition plus physical knowledge of certain things. And when humans are very patriarchal oriented or very masculine knowledge oriented, they forget the benefit of feminine knowledge and feminine intuition and other things that are also equal part of coexistence with other humans. So if you have intuitively or logically refused certain people in your life, now is the time to intuitively and logically, and also using universe's guidances, go towards the direction where your heart, your life, your soul will feel more aligned towards. Because there are also going to be many women in these single women groups who are maybe not supposed to marry anyone. Maybe there are single mothers who are struggling right now for some reason in some country, and they're supposed to join groups with other single mothers to create a cohesive society where they can caretake each other's children. Maybe there are divorced women who, if right now they're not finding any man who is suitable for them, all those divorced women are supposed to collectively do something together before they find the suitable man for them. So think about it. What are your next step supposed to be? Get guided by the universe as to what should your next step be. Because if you're lonely, our loneliness doesn't need just a life partner. Life partner is needed, but right life partner is even more important than just simply having a life partner. Same way, family is also needed, but right family is more needed right now at this stage of life than just existing with any family. So find your family, but the family who will truly take care of you, or who you are truly capable of taking care of. Don't go and be with people who aren't aligned with you, who won't align with you, who can't align with you, who are resistant to aligning with you. Go and find those people who are actually aligned with you, who are ready to be aligned with you, who are ready to coexist with you. Find those people, and until you find those people, find what is necessary when you are in the holding pattern. What are the things that will bring joy in your life truly, that will bring true meaningful existence back in your life? Find that. As you find that, ask for it. As you ask for it, slowly it will start manifesting, and sometimes it will go towards the wrong direction too. But when it's going in the wrong direction, there's a lesson to be learned there. So learn the lessons from wherever you are stuck at, whatever dark experience also you're experiencing. From the darkness also, the right path will emerge for you. I hope it was beneficial. Have a good day. Bye.